Right now, somewhere, a baby elephant is watching a human's mouth. Not his food, not his hands, his mouth. And without anyone teaching him, without anyone rewarding him, he starts trying to make the same sound come out of his own body. That's not a party trick. That's something much stranger. Because across the animal kingdom, in species that share almost nothing with us, the same strange behavior keeps showing up. They start copying us. Not because we trained them to, because something in them wants to. A parrot learns your sentences. A dog learns your gestures. A monkey learns to prefer the human who mimics it over the one who doesn't. Most people assume this is just mindless mimicry, a party trick, a coincidence of captivity. But that's not quite right. Scientists have a name for the mechanism behind it. They call it the mirror system. And the truth is stranger than a talking bird, because the same wiring that makes an elephant copy your words is sitting inside your own skull right now, quietly running your entire social life without you ever noticing. Stay till the end, because the last part of this story is about the one thing that makes you human at all. So let's start with the elephant, because his case is almost impossible to believe. His name is Koshik, and he lives at a zoo in South Korea. In 2012, researchers led by cognitive biologist Angela Stoger recorded him producing 5 distinct Korean words. Hello. Sit down. No. Lie down. Good. But here's what's fascinating. Elephants don't have lips. They can't shape sound the way we do. So Koshik found his own workaround. He shoves his own trunk into his mouth and uses it like a hand reshaping a tube, bending the air until it comes out sounding almost exactly like his trainer's voice. Researchers played recordings to native Korean speakers who had no idea an elephant made them. The listeners understood every word. When the team compared his sounds to normal elephant calls, they weren't even close. This wasn't an elephant noise that happened to sound like Korean. This was deliberate, structured copying, so why would an animal go through all that effort? Here's where it gets personal. Koshik spent 7 years of his life with no other elephants around him, just humans, and researchers believe that's the key. He wasn't trying to communicate meaning, he was trying to belong. That single detail changes everything, so let's go deeper. Because Koshik isn't alone. Long before anyone studied elephants doing this, scientists were watching monkeys do something almost identical. In the 1990s, a research team in Parma, Italy, discovered something bizarre in the brains of macaque monkeys. Certain neurons fired when a monkey grabbed a banana. Completely normal. But the same neurons also fired when the monkey simply watched a human grab a banana. The monkey wasn't moving, it wasn't eating, it was just watching, and its brain reacted as if it were doing the action itself. Scientists called these mirror neurons. And it might be the strangest part of all, because this means, on some level, watching and doing aren't as different as we think. Your brain doesn't just observe another creature's actions, it rehearses them internally, like a shadow copy running in the background. So what did the monkeys do with this ability? They didn't just watch, they started copying. But that's only half the story, because copying turned out to have a hidden purpose. In a series of studies, researchers gave Capuchin monkeys the exact same object as a human sitting across from them. One human copied every move the monkey made. The other human did something completely different. The monkeys weren't just curious about the humans who mimicked them, they were drawn to them. They spent more time near them. They showed clear preference for the human who acted like a reflection of themselves. In a related experiment, researchers gave macaque monkeys tokens to trade for treats with 2 different people. Only one of those people had been mimicking the monkey's earlier movements. Every single time, the monkeys chose to trade with the one who had copied them. Not the stranger who ignored their movements, the one who mirrored their own body back at them. So what killed the idea that imitation was just a mindless reflex? This did. Because mimicry in these animals wasn't random. It was social currency. It built trust. It built preference. It built something that looked a lot like friendship. And it's not just primates. Dogs do it too, but in a smarter way than you'd expect. In studies where dogs watched humans perform different actions to get the same result, the dogs didn't just copy blindly. They copied selectively, favoring the version of the action that seemed more deliberate, more socially meaningful. In other words, dogs aren't just pattern matching. They're reading intention. They're asking, on some level, Why is this human doing this? And is it worth doing too? Compare that to your own life for a second. Think about the last time you caught yourself crossing your arms because the person across from you just did, or smiling because someone smiled first, or picking up a friend's accent after a few weeks around them. You didn't decide to do that. It happened before you noticed. That's the same mirror system, the same ancient wiring, just running quietly in a body that happens to wear shoes and pay rent. So here's the real question. If imitation is everywhere in the animal kingdom, why does it matter so much? Here's where the twist comes in. Most people think copying is about learning skills. Watch, then repeat, then improve. And that's part of it. But the deeper function seems to be about something else entirely. Bonding, belonging, proving, on a level deeper than language, that you and another creature are on the same side. Elephants don't need to speak Korean to survive. Monkeys don't need to imitate a stranger's hand movements to find food. Dogs don't need to copy your specific technique to solve a simple task. And yet they do it anyway, again and again across species that evolved on completely separate branches of the tree of life. That's not coincidence. That's convergence. Different species independently arriving at the same solution to the same problem. And the problem is loneliness. The problem is being a social creature stranded among individuals whose minds you can't directly read. Imitation is the workaround. It says, without a single word, I see you, and I am like you. Now bring that back to yourself, because this was never really about elephants. Every time you unconsciously match someone's tone of voice, every time you laugh because everyone else in the room just laughed, every time your body leans the way your best friend's body leans, that's the exact same ancient circuitry Koshik used to say hello in a language his own species doesn't speak. You've spent your whole life assuming your personality was built entirely from the inside, but a huge part of it was quietly assembled by copying the people around you, one unnoticed mirrored gesture at a time. Koshik reshaped his own trunk just to sound a little more like the only companions he had left. And most days, without ever noticing, you're doing the exact same thing. Not because anyone taught you to, because somewhere inside you, on a level older than language, being alone is the one thing your mind was never built to accept.